Hey guys, it's Rob here. I'm really excited to bring you today's update because the EzyMarketer Developer Den has been absolutely buzzing with the team coding awesome new enhancements to our Easy Web Builder and the release of our brand new Easy Web Meetings and also Easy Webinar Pro platforms. So, without further ado, we'll get right into this presentation and let you know of all the enhancements. First off, we'll cover our Easy Web Builder. Now this is a biggie, and the real biggie here is that any image can now be a payment button. So let's have a look at that. Let's go and create a new website. Create a new one. Update test. Wait for it to do its magic. Loading up a brand new website now. Okay, we're going to empty the page and start with a blank canvas. Alright, so as I said, any image can become a payment button. So let's go over here to our content. And let's go and pick an image. So this one here is pretty popular. Image on the left, text on the right, and then you can stagger them and have the other one that's underneath it is text on the left, image on the right. So this could be products, all right, and have an image here for a particular product. So to change the image, you just go and click on it, and on the right hand side here we go and upload a new image, and of course in red is always the size of the image. So you already know that. That's what's been here in the past with EzyMarketer, but look at this new tab on here. Payment. So before, the only way that we could take payments, and our payments are done through PayPal, so it was EzyMarketer is fully integrated with PayPal. So before you had to go and use the payment buttons, but now we can actually use any button at all or any image at all and turn that into a payment link. So just in case you're not experienced with our payment system, you don't even have to log into your PayPal account. You just enter the PayPal business email address here, enter the name of what you're going to call that product, the currency, and look at all the different currencies that we have. All right, lots of different currencies here, and the payment type, one time or a subscription. So one time you just enter the amount, and on the subscription, with a trial or without a trial. So you might want to give a $1 trial for the first 7 days and then a subscription amount of so much per month or per year. And the return link on the bottom, well, when a payment goes through with PayPal, when that payment is successful, there's a standard PayPal return link thanking the person, right, for using PayPal. Well, instead of having that, you can go and create your own thank you page. So imagine if you were selling an electronic product, you could go and have that link off to a page that has the download of that product that you were selling. So it might even be going off to your Google Drive or to your Dropbox or wherever. So you can either link it to a page that you create within this website, or you can use an external link on there. So this is really cool, guys. Any image at all on EzyMarketer can be turned into a payment. So you can just go up here to PayPal. All right, just put in PayPal payment buttons into good old Google and go to images, and then you could select any of the buttons here, save them to your computer, and then go over here and change the image and make that into a PayPal payment button if you wanted to, or any of the other images. The next one I want to show you is the new content elements. So I'll close that. I'm going to empty the page again. Come over here, and this time we put the new elements up the top so we can see them here. So we can see that the first ones here are images. So I'm going to drag the second one. That gives 2 images across the page and text on the bottom. Wait for that to load. And the second image one is 3 images across the page and product description or whatever underneath those images. So everything here, you just go and use the editor, to change any of the text. If you want to have them centered, right, you just use the editor to go and center those titles there. Change any of the images, you click on the image, right, and go and upload an image from your computer. Tells you again here what the image size is. And of course, like I just mentioned, this is an image, so we can go and turn that image into a payment button as well. So that's pretty cool, having our new 2 and 3 images across the page. Next one is similar, but with videos this time. So let me empty the page again. 2 videos. Wait for it to do its magic and load. Okay, so there's 2 videos. And again, you can go and change the layout of the text and change all your text. And with the videos, you just click on the video. And on the left-hand side here, you enter either the YouTube or the Vimeo IDs in here. Then the second one for videos, go back to Elements, and that's 3 videos across the page. And what's really neat with these guys is that this can turn out awesome training pages. So if you've got a team of people, or even for clients and for whatever, you want to go and have a training page, and that can be teaching them all sorts of details about your products. So that's the video section that we've done there now. The next one I want to show you is text header, 1 para of text, and then video. So that's another video element. So if we scroll down the page, to where the videos are. Oops, I missed it. Where are we? Here they are. Alright, so this first image on the top is what we had before, where we had the video on the top and the text underneath. The new element reverses that. So let me put that across here and load that up so we can have the header and then the text of the video underneath. Sorry, on top. Okay, so again, this can be great for product demonstrations and so forth. The next element I want to show you that we've just enhanced is a button under 50/50 image text. So, wow, that's a bit of a mouthful, but that's what we've called it. These are the 2 images here, where we have, 2 new elements here. Image left, text right. We had that before, but now we have buttons on underneath each of those as well. Okay, so here's our element being installed right now. There it is. And if you don't want that button there, you can just go and click on this. And on the left-hand side, we can see remove this button, yes or no. So yes, I want to remove it. Now remember, if you do anything at all in the editor, you always have to apply changes. So I'm going to apply changes, and bam, that button is gone. The other thing we did here is that some people have said that they don't want to have the check marks here and they want to delete that out. Well, we've always been able to delete that out, but it left the faint line here. Well, now you can even remove that line as well. So if you click on that, remove this line, yes, apply changes, and now the line is gone as well. So it's giving a lot more flexibility on that element. So I'm going to empty this page now. The other enhancement that we've made is just a small tweak on one of the videos again. Let me just look, here it is. The videos where we've got a single video with header and 1 paragraph underneath. Well, before it had 2 paragraphs. Well, if you only needed 1 paragraph, you could delete the second one, but by doing that, it left more white space. So if I move this over here again, and if you want to put more than 1 paragraph in there, like before when it had 2, that's very easy to do. You just go and click on the text, and then enter, and now type away. Right, you want another paragraph, enter again, type away. Now if you don't want a line space, a little trick with that is to hold down the Shift key and then enter or return if you're on a Mac. So now we don't have that line space. So what that's enabling us now is that by having just the 1 paragraph doesn't have the big white space underneath that element. Another one is the full width divider element tweak. Now what that one is let's go over here to our divider, full element, here it is. Mouse, move it across, drag and drop. Okay, we want to change this image. So we click on the icon here. To have it exactly the same size as this is 1920 wide and 824 high. Well, now you can have that divider as deep as you want. If you want that to be 500 pixels deep, or you want it to be 1000 pixels deep, you can choose whatever size of image that you want to go in there, so long as it's around 1920 wide. Another new feature is padding. You might have already picked this up. Do you see up the top, trash can, on top of the element I should say, trash can, the crosshairs, which is to be able to move the element. So we just move that above now by using the crosshair. The section is, next one is to change the background, whether it's an image or a video. Click on that again. So we can go and change this. You can make it parallax effect underneath. You can put a video and have a video playing in the background if you wish. And then the last one here is the new one, and that is to actually change the padding. And the padding is the white space that is above or below the actual element. So with this one here being a divider, there is no padding. But if we went and put a padding of 5 above and below, click Apply Changes, and what that's doing now, it's a little bit hard, you won't be able to see here until we actually upload that or do a preview on it, but it actually leaves some white space above and below. So the higher the padding, right, the higher the space. So let's have a look on this video one. Look at the padding on here. We can see the padding on this one is 15. So you can actually see here on the red line, that's the element. So there's the top, you can see that there's some space, the white space above the video. And on the bottom, you can see the white space between the text and the bottom. So if we look at the top of the video, if I change that to 5, that's just now moved the video up. If I put that to 25, Apply Changes has moved the video down a lot further. So again, giving you more flexibility on the design. And the final enhancement to our web builder is that we've improved the undo and redo process. So you can actually go back infinite versions of your websites and landing pages by clicking on the undo button. So that's the button here on the top. So if you've realized you've made a mistake, you've deleted something you didn't want to delete, well, you can go back here and undo, or then you can move forward and redo as well. So that finishes the enhancements that we've done to our web builder. The next one we're going to cover now is Contact Manager. Now with Contact Manager, we've had some suggestions from clients where they've wanted to be able to actually edit the contact from within the contact list. So there's a screenshot, and I've used a screenshot instead of bringing up my Contact Manager because I didn't want to expose people's email addresses. So here's one just with my email address in here. So I'm in a contact list, and on the far right hand side we can see the edit button over here. If you click on that, you can then go and edit the content. You can go and edit the contact from within the Contact Manager itself, within the contact list itself, In the moment we've all been waiting for, our brand new cutting edge media server management software has been installed, and hundreds of hours of coding to ensure that it's able to handle the exponential growth that we're expecting with our web meeting and webinar platforms. This new software will enable automatic allocation of server resources to ensure that we have crystal clear audio and zero lag screen sharing, no matter how many people are on each meeting or webinar. It will also enable automatic allocation of extra resources to our cloud servers to handle unlimited meetings and unlimited webinars to run simultaneously. We're now in our final beta test mode for both platforms, so your feedback over this next couple of weeks will be greatly appreciated as we expect to go live to market on March 1. So a quick overview of how that works is that we click on Web Meetings and we go to create a new web meeting. So I'll click on that, enter the meeting name, let's call this video test. And that's gone and created the meeting for us. So now I go and grab the invitation link. You can enter the person's name and email address that you want to send the link to, or you can copy it up here, and that's been copied successfully. You can now email it or message it or SMS it or whatever you want to do to get the meeting link to the people that you want to join the meeting. And then we click on Start Meeting. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that was web meetings. Now let's have a look at the webinar platform. So we click on Webinars. Now the difference between webinars and web meetings is that a web meeting, you generate the link instantly and go and send that link out to people. With a webinar, we have 6 steps to create a webinar, and we can see those steps down the bottom. Step 1 is create the webinar. Step 2 is create the registration page. That's where people register to join your webinar. Step 3 is to create the webinar thank you page. Step 4, create the webinar end page. And so the thank you page, the difference between those two is the thank you page is to thank them for when they've registered. So the end webinar page, of course, is when the webinar finishes. And then the 5th one is to create the contact list. And that's the contact list that all the people that register for your webinar go into. And finally is create autoresponders. So you can send autoresponders before the webinar starts as a reminder for them to join your webinar. And then you can also have them programmed to be sent after the webinar to be able to follow up with your sales or sign-ups or whatever it is you're promoting on your webinar. Now, I just want to show you a really neat thing that we can do with our webinars is, let's go and create a new one. I'm just going to call this video test, Rob Wilson. And then you go and set whatever time in advance that you want to set up the webinar. Well, I'm not going to change the time because I'm just going to show you something pretty neat here. I'll just click continue. And that's now created the webinar for us. We can see that step 1 has been done. So we can just do a quick webinar. So on a quick webinar, you can see the first link is the start, the quick link start. So click on that and there's the registration link. Okay, so copy that and then send that to your people that you want to join on a meeting. Now, why would we do that? Well, on a web meeting, there are some differences between a web meeting and a webinar of how they run. On a web meeting, you can have a maximum of 8 people on the meeting. Right now, on webinars, you can have unlimited people on the webinar. So if you want to have more than 8 people, you can just do a quick link and set this up just the same as if you're doing a webinar without having to do the registration page and so on and so on. Now, the other thing we can do here is that we can start it here. So see how we got the black play button? Well, we don't. When we create all the rest of the webinar, we would then have the link here and the play button, but there'd be 2 more there that would actually be blue. And the blue ones are for the webinar and the black ones is just for a quick start webinar. So again, the difference between them is to be able to have more people on the webinar, but the other difference is as well, on a web meeting, all of the people on the web meetings, microphones are automatically turned on and they're sharing of their monitors and sharing of their webcams. On a webinar, it's only got the sharing for the presenter, but you can add the presenter options onto for any particular person that's on the webinar. So then you can have 2, 3, 4 people working together to do a webinar. More on that on further advanced training a little bit later with that. The other thing we can do over here is we can see the copy or clone. So when you go and set up all your webinar and do all your registration page, the thank you page, the end page, set up your autoresponders, if you are running, say, the same webinar every week or every couple of weeks or whatever you do, instead of setting the whole thing up again and adding all your autoresponders and everything into it, you can just go and clone the webinar and it'll duplicate everything for you. And the only thing you have to do then is just to change the start date and time. So that's a really awesome feature to be able to clone them. Now we're still working on the integrated recording and the automatic recording. So that's not available right now. So don't let that hold you back from using EzyWebinar Pro or to record your web meetings, because this is a great program, Screencast-O-Matic. Right, a great program that does an overlay on your screen and does the recordings from there. And really that's what I've been using all the time in the past before we added recordings into our previous version. So we can see here that it's only $18 for the Pro version. You can look at the website and see the difference between the free version and the Pro version, but for the sake of $18 a year, this is absolutely awesome for recordings. Not just for recording your webinars, but if you want to go and record other videos, for training videos and so forth, for your team or for your clients or for your staff, well, this for $18 a year is absolutely fantastic. So you can see the URL on the top, screencast-o-matic.com. The final thing that I want to show you tonight is our web hosting enhancements. So I'll go back over here to our dashboard and go to our web hosting. Now what we have on here that is different now is that when you go to register an Australian domain, a .com.au, the Australian registries require further information from us. So if you want to register one of those and add that to your account, there is a few steps that you need to go through. So here, register a new domain. Click on that. If you scroll down, you can see all of the different domain extensions we can do now. Look at them all. All right, there's so many different ones that you can all do and have them allocated immediately to your account. Well, they're all immediate apart from Australian domain names. So the information under here, I'm not going to go through all that tonight because I'm just going to bore the non-Australian clients that we've got here. But for the Aussies that want a .com.au, you need to go and send this information through to us. So go and register the domain and then send a support ticket in with the accompanying information that the Australian Domain Registry requires. We'll forward that on, and then as soon as that's all been approved, the domain will be added to your account. But you don't have to do that with any of the rest of these. It is only for the .com.aus. So that's it for me tonight. I hope you are going to have some great fun with those enhancements. For the people that were on the beta before we actually released this, they absolutely loved the fact that you could put multiple videos across the page, multiple images across the page on the web builder, and of course, what's going to be an absolute smash hit is that any single image can be turned into a payment button. So get in there, have a play, and we look forward to seeing some of the masterpieces that you can now create with our web builder. And thank you for your continued support, and we'll see you on the next video soon.